What are you talking about? Stop playing. Stop playing. Stop playing. No. Get off me. Let go of me. Let go of me.
Wait, what? Kirk really tried.
Hold up. Did Kirk really try to take Mendeecees out on the road? This isn't your typical messy reality TV feud. We're talking full-blown attempted murder-level drama. The streets are buzzing right now because insiders are spilling some seriously shocking details. Kirk Frost is allegedly behind a plan to have Mendeecees handled during what was supposed to be a regular drive. But guess what? Mendeecees survived, and now the truth is slowly coming to light, piece by piece. So the big question is, why would Kirk go this far? What did Mendeecees do to push Kirk over the edge? And even more importantly, who's leaking these chilling details? Is it someone from their inner circle? Perhaps a friend turned foe? Or could Mendeecees himself be trying to get ahead of the scandal before it blows up even more? One thing's for sure. This isn't just idle gossip. This is a full-blown conspiracy, and we've got all the juicy details. From betrayals to life-threatening setups, this scandal is messy, and we're breaking it all down for you. Grab your popcorn because this is about to get intense. Mendeecees was driving down an empty road, completely unaware that danger was lurking just ahead. He thought it was just another routine drive, a chance to clear his head amidst all the chaos around him. But what he didn't know was that someone had a completely different plan for how that drive was supposed to end, and that someone was Kirk. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Kirk who's been throwing shade at Mendeecees left and right. The same Kirk who's been scheming behind the scenes might have just taken things way too far. And now the streets are asking one burning question. Was this a setup? Sources close to the situation are spilling some serious tea, and it's only getting messier. Word on the street is that Kirk had been plotting something shady for weeks. Allegedly, there were heated arguments, threats exchanged, and even some "I'm handling this my way" type talk from Kirk. Then, out of nowhere, this mysterious road incident happens, leaving Mendeecees shaken but still alive. Coincidence? Or was this a carefully orchestrated plan that just didn't go as expected? Now let's talk about the timing, because it's looking real suspicious. Just days before this so-called accident, Kirk and Mendeecees had another heated argument. But this wasn't your average squabble, it was one of those "if I see you, it's on" types of beefs. They had already been clashing over past drama with Yondu, but things escalated when Kirk reportedly started making some serious threats. Insiders claim that Kirk was saying things like Mendeecees had to be dealt with, and that he wasn't going to let it slide. Normally, people talk tough when they're angry, but given what just happened, people are starting to question whether Kirk meant every word. Let's not forget, Kirk's no stranger to holding grudges. This isn't the first time he's had issues with Mendeecees, and definitely not the first time he's been caught making shady moves. Just last year, there were rumors swirling about Kirk had been quietly scheming behind the scenes to take Mendeecees down, whether that involved damaging his reputation or interfering with his business moves. But now it seems like things have spiraled, way beyond just words. Multiple sources are claiming that Kirk had people watching Mendeecees' every move, and if the rumors are true, this whole ordeal was planned out down to the finest details. Some even believe that Kirk knew exactly where Mendeecees would be driving that night, suggesting the accident was actually a failed attempt at something far darker. The details are wild, and honestly, it's hard to ignore just how carefully thought out this whole situation seems. Think about it. Mendeecees was driving down a quiet road, minding his own business, when suddenly an unexpected obstacle appeared. Something doesn't quite add up. The timing, the threats, the history between these two, there's just too much to overlook. Now let's talk about what happened after the incident, because that's where things get even more suspicious. Kirk has been eerily silent about the whole situation. No statements, no public appearances, just complete radio silence. Now, we all know Kirk isn't the type to stay quiet when drama's brewing, so why is he suddenly staying out of the spotlight? Is he trying to avoid questions? Or is he hoping this blows over before people start putting the pieces together? Let's be real, if someone accused you of something like this, wouldn't you be out there shouting from the rooftops about how innocent you are? Meanwhile, Mendeecees hasn't been saying much either, but sources close to him claim he's absolutely convinced this wasn't just some random accident. He's reportedly telling his people, "I know what's going on. This was a setup." If he believes that, he's definitely going to start looking for answers because, let's face it, if someone really tried to take him out, he's not just going to let that slide. And then there's the witnesses. Oh yes, there were people who saw what went down that night, and according to them, this wasn't just a case of bad luck. Allegedly, there was another car involved, one that had been following Macy for quite a while before things went sideways. And get this, the driver of that car? They vanished from the scene before authorities arrived. Why would someone do that unless they had something to hide? Now, here's where things take an even crazier turn. Some people are saying that Kirk wasn't just behind the setup. He might have actually been on that road himself, making sure everything went according to plan. A source who claims to have been near the scene says they spotted a car that looked a lot like Kirk's parked on the side of the road just before everything went wrong. If Kirk was really there that night, watching everything unfold, then this wasn't just some tough talk hoping for the best. This was premeditated. Someone wanted Macy off that road, and they were willing to go to extreme lengths to make it happen. They wanted the whole thing to look like a simple accident. And let's not pretend like Kirk hasn't been acting suspicious for a while. This is the same guy who's been called out for shady business deals, the same one who's had drama follow him for years, and the same person who always seems to have an explanation for why things go south when he's around. But this is on an entirely different level. While Kirk is out here dodging questions, Macy is gearing up for whatever comes next. Word is he's been talking to some major figures in the industry, trying to figure out exactly what went down that night. And trust me, if he discovers that Kirk had a hand in it, there's going to be war. But here's the real twist. Rumors are already circulating that Macy is plotting his own revenge. That's right. If Kirk thought he could pull a fast one and walk away without consequences, he might want to rethink that. If Macy gets the proof, it's going to get ugly. Now the streets are buzzing, waiting to see what happens next. Will Macy come out swinging? Will Kirk finally speak up? Or is this just the start of a much bigger plan that none of us saw coming? One thing's for sure, this isn't over, not by a long shot. The tension is high, the stakes are through the roof, and everyone's watching to see how this plays out. But if you think this drama is messy now, just wait until you hear what's coming next. Let's set the record straight. Macy isn't someone who's going to take an attack like this lightly. If Kirk really thought he could just shake Macy up and walk away scot-free, then he clearly underestimated who he was dealing with. Because trust me, Macy is already making moves behind the scenes. If the rumors are true, Kirk might have just made the biggest mistake of his life. Word on the street is that Macy's been reaching out to some serious players, people with real influence. We're not talking about his usual crew here. He's allegedly been contacting industry insiders, legal experts, and even a few individuals with, let's say, some less than legal connections. And let's be real, if Macy genuinely believes that Kirk tried to take him out, there's no way he's letting that slide. Things get even messier because, while Macy is plotting his next move, Kirk is out here trying to do damage control. Yep, as people start connecting the dots, Kirk is suddenly popping up, trying to distance himself from the whole situation. First, he went quiet. Now, he's out here throwing out the y'all-reaching excuse, acting like everything is just one big coincidence. But let's be real, the receipts are not in his favor. Just as people started questioning him, some leaked messages hit the internet. And if these messages are real, they paint a very different picture. Alleged screenshots show Kirk talking to someone just days before the accident, saying things like, "That dude thinks he's untouchable, he got too comfortable, and bet money he won't see this coming." Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds pretty incriminating. It definitely sounds like someone's planning something. And let's not forget, this isn't the first time Kirk's been caught saying shady things. He's got a history of throwing stones and pretending like he had nothing to do with it. But this situation? It's way too detailed to just be a casual conversation. And guess what? Macy's team isn't sitting back. Sources close to him are saying that he's gearing up to launch his own investigation. Yep, you heard that right. Macy's putting his people on the case, going through phone records, surveillance footage, and everything else. Because he wants to know exactly who was involved and how far this really goes. Now let's talk about who else could be involved, because trust me, this might not be a solo operation. There's talk that Kirk might not have acted alone, that there were others helping him. And when I say the names being whispered are shocking, I mean shocking. Some sources are claiming that Kirk might have even gotten help from people within Mendeecees' own circle. Can you imagine that? Thinking you're safe, thinking you know who's got your back, only to find out that someone close to you might have played a part in trying to set you up? That's betrayal on an entirely different level. And let's not forget that money talks. If Kirk really wanted this to happen, you can bet he had to pay some people to make sure everything went according to plan. But clearly, something went wrong. Instead of Mendeecees being taken out, he survived. And now, Kirk's in a serious predicament. Because when a plan falls apart, loose ends start to unravel. Word on the street is that someone involved in this plot might be ready to flip. Yep, it looks like someone's feeling the pressure and might start talking to save themselves. If that happens, it's game over for Kirk, because the moment one person cracks, the whole operation falls apart. And trust me, Kirk knows this. That's why he's been acting different, keeping a low profile, watching his back. To get the latest updates on this mess before anyone else, make sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on post notifications. Because trust me, you won't want to miss what happens next. This story is about to take a wild turn, and when it does, we'll be right here breaking it all down. Stay tuned.